Espero que nadie se ofenda, pero hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo.
Só nós sentimos assim. Por muito desgosto que possamos ter, valores mais altos se levantam. O valor mais alto que se levanta em termos futebolísticos chama-se Benfica.
Good evening. Welcome to another episode of O Continue Benfiquista podcast, number 39. And we were just talking about off the air. It's the first one we've had 2 wins in a row, that we've had a podcast with 2 wins in a row. Normally it's a win and a loss, or a tie and a win. So it's good to break that cycle. Today I've got Jason's joining us again. Welcome back, Jay. How are you? You're muted, buddy.
What's going on, bud?
See?
Welcome
He's off
back.
a couple of weeks.
Welcome
Rookie mistake.
back.
I know.
We got Oscar joining us as well. Oscar, how are you?
Happy today. Very happy.
And we've got a debut for Milton. Milton, how are you?
Oh, well, thank you, guys. Thanks for the invite.
Welcome, bud.
Thank you.
And Kenny will be joining us. He was just finishing up beating the batatas, but he'll be joining us shortly. Today we'll talk briefly about Benfica 2, Estoril 0. Taça de Portugal game. We book our trip to the final against Braga. We'll talk quickly about that game. I want to focus on today's game. Benfica goes to Estádio Jamor, take on Belenenses SAD, and comes away with a 3-0 game, 3-0 victory. After first half, that was interesting. Also touched quickly on JJ's comments in his press conference the other day or yesterday, I think it was, about Waldschmidt not understanding Portuguese. I think that's interesting to say the least. We'll also talk about the potential of international referees in Portugal next year with an exchange program, it seems, that they're exploring. So we'll talk about that. Jump right into the studio game. So Benfica had won 3-1 in the first leg, comes away with a 2-0 win in the second leg. We got the lineup here. Lacodimos comes back in net, which I know Milton will want to touch on that. He's got some comments about that. Nuno Tavares, Otamendi, Lucas Veríssimo, Gilberto, Servi, Pizzi, Gabriel, Pedrinho, Chiquinho, and Gonçalo Ramos. Again, a game that I had it up. I was in the middle of calls for work. I had it up on the screen. It looked like there was a little bit more urgency from the team. I mean, if you look at the stats here, I'll bring it up on the screen as well. I think the stats kind of tell us a little bit of that picture. So Estoril here, we got 21 shots against 1, 8 of them on target against 1, 10 corners against 1, 87% pass efficiency, 20 fouls committed, 60% possession against 40. I will say this Estoril team, and from what I've read, is considered to be one of the better teams in the second division. So I know that they made some changes in this lineup in comparison to the first game. I think probably to rest with the expectation that they probably weren't going to turn things around. But Oscar, I'll start with you because you may have been the most attentive to your or to the match. What did you think of the game? And what did you think of the Otamendi-Lucas Verissimo partnership that we also saw today? And before you go, I'm going to bring in Kenny as well because he finally finished eating up the batatas and he's ready to go.
Let's go!
No paper bag today?
No paper bags.
No? Hell no. What's up, Milton?
What's up, buddy?
Long time no see.
I know.
All right, I can start with this game. So, Estoril, that was never a big threat. Obviously, we won the first game by a good margin. This game was basically just let it roll and try our new guys. I was really happy to see Ramos score a goal and Waldo coming back and scoring a goal as well. So, to me, this game was basically just like, I know Tank before this thing started, it was like a boring game. It was a boring game. It was already won before the game even started. You know, it was just a practice almost. And it was good to see some of those guys. I like Chiquinho playing. He played really well during that game. You know, like I said, Ramos and Waldo, the partnership in the back with Lucas Verissimo and Otamendi is very, very good. Very good. Have you noticed that since Verissimo came in, like our back line is solid, and I don't see. Thank you're talking, but you're muted. I don't know. I see your lips moving, but I don't think unless he goes to a 3-back, I don't see Vertonghen coming back into the lineup until for a while. But if he does a 3-back, I think it's a good system and it'll help us. But I don't think Verissimo loses his spot anymore.
I mean, Verissimo also played with Jardel the week before in a 2-0. But I think we can all agree, and I guess I'll open it up to you guys. And again, we saw him as well today. So I guess I'll hold that question up until we talk about the BSAD game. Chiquinho, I thought, looked good. I guess I'll ask Milton. I know that you were in the same situation as I in terms of keeping one eye on the match and trying to do other things. But do you think that, I guess, one, is there anything else that you would add to Oscar's analysis of the game? And two, do you see Chiquinho as a player who could fight his way into this starting 11 or be a regular, or does he not go past a squad player, utility player, but apart from that, nothing further than that?
To be honest with you, I know this is probably going to piss off a lot of people, but I'm so down on Peasy that I think I would rather see Chiquinho than Peasy in that 8 position. I think Peasy since last year, he's been a shell of himself, to be honest. I don't find Chiquinho a top player. I truly don't. But I think Peasy's been so poor that you might as well start anybody else. You know, and I think also I did like to see Gonçalo Ramos. Seferovic, Darwin, Waldschmidt, they've all been so poor that I'm surprised Ramos hasn't really had any minutes. I think he's been deserving, but of course we all know Jorge doesn't like anybody from the Shishal, so it doesn't really surprise me.
Can we no, go ahead, finish.
And I think that's pretty much it. I do like Lucas a lot, Verissimo. And I was actually kind of happy that, that I've been seeing a lot of complaints about Helton late starting, that I think has shut up some people with Flacco starting. But I think Helton has shown that he's not any worse. Not saying that Flacco's a bad goalie, but I think he's shown that he's not any worse than Flacco. If anything, I think he shows some qualities that Flacco doesn't show. We could touch that later on or now. But.
Yeah, we'll get on that. We'll touch on that in the Belenenses match. Jay, anything else that you would add to that? And can we also discuss that Gonçalo Ramos goal? I don't know if you guys noticed, but the defender, when the ball gets played to Gonçalo Ramos, the defender forgets, I'm not going to go defend the guy with the ball. I'm just going to go stand here next to the post, next to the goalie, and do nothing. Did anyone else notice that?
I think I think he was just
late.
Yeah, I think he was just thinking somebody else is gonna get him. I don't even have to go. I won't have time to go get there. But it was just, I think he froze. He froze there.
Dude.
That was,
Jay, anything else you'd add?
I mean, to me, like it's what Oscar and Milton kind of everyone touched base on it. It was just a game that was already won before we even played it. It was good to see Remu scoring on his opportunity. Didn't take him like 6 chances. It was good to see that. But other than that, this game, you really can't take much off of it. It's good to get a clean sheet. Obviously, they didn't produce much offense on their end. But overall, I thought that we played well, and it was an easy one.
Kenny, anything? I don't know if you heard. I don't think you heard Oscar's analysis, but
He did.
He was there. Anything that you would add in terms of what everyone's talked about? And then I know that you were critical of Gabriel, and I think he started poorly, but I think from what I've seen and I've gathered in terms of other opinions, it seems that everyone was content with the way he grew into the game. Did you feel the same way, or were you just frustrated from start to finish?
Well, first, let me just shout out to my Cowboys for signing Dak. 4 years, well deserved. Guy's been through a tough year, but with this game, right? So I think my palpite was I think it was 4-0 or 4-1. So I was like, we jumped on top of these guys. 4-1. So we jumped on top of these guys in the first leg. We'll probably, do it again in the second. After the first half, I was starting to think to myself, I am glad we got the 3 goals in the first leg, because this game is, starting to look a lot more difficult than it really needed to be. And we really only got the second goal towards the end of the game. So it was a frustrating game to watch. Like Oscar and the other guys said, it was boring. I liked that we created more chances, but we still struggled with finishing. I think that was a big takeaway that I took from the game. In regards to Gabriel, I'm not a fan of his, so maybe my opinion is biased. But I think it was a good game for him to get some minutes. I don't think he was impressive. Just like a lot of the other guys that got time during this game that haven't gotten a lot of playing time in other games, I don't think anyone really stood out. Even Gonzalo Ramos, I wanted to see a little bit more from him. He got that goal, but the ball, come on, if he missed that
was a gift.
The ball.
How many times have we seen forwards miss shots like that, though? Come on, at least he buried
it's true.
it.
It's true.
That's fair.
It's absolutely that's
your
totally
job
fair,
as a striker. Is the
I'm just happy. I'm just happy he buried it. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Me too.
And it builds him, and it builds confidence, right?
Yeah.
But a game, you have a game where a game series like talking to me over here. Jesus Christ. A game where you got the first leg, right? The first leg, you have such a big advantage. The second leg is going to be a comfortable game, so you throw out a couple of kids, a couple of guys that need a little bit more minutes. And I don't know, I just expected more. Like you just want, especially a team from second division. I just wanted to see a little bit more brilliance like we saw today. Like today was especially that second half was a complete turnaround from what we've seen in the past. So, yeah, it would have been nice to see some of these other guys step up a little bit more.
I think the game lacked intensity, too. I think by that second half, I think everyone kind of already knew, all right, shut off faith. Let's not get hurt. Let's not do anything stupid. Let's go home, basically,
It was a good opportunity to rotate, though, for sure. And again, I'll just bring up the stats here again, right? Like 21 shots, 8 on target, right? Like I think it shows a little bit of an improvement there. I think the interesting thing is we conceded 20 fouls against Estoril, and we conceded 3 fouls against Arsenal. That number still stands out to me. I think is very interesting. If you guys had to attribute a man of the match, who would it be? Jay, I'll start with you, and I'll bring up the stats, the ratings, and you guys can tell me if you agree.
I thought Cam played good overall throughout the whole game, and I'd probably give it to him.
Fair. Milton, from what you remember,
I would say Chiquinho or for the goal, maybe Gonzalo Ramos, but I think Chiquinho was solid.
Fair. Oscar?
Peasy. Just kidding.
Oh my God,
No,
Oscar,
but-
you better be ready for this conversation.
No, but I'm going with Chiquinho. I thought he had an overall good game defensively and offensively. So I think Chiquinho deserves this one, even though it's against the second division team.
All right.
Just had to
Kenny?
add that in there. No, I'd say Chiquinho too. I didn't. It was unmemorable, but I would say he stepped up when we needed him to.
Fair. Yep. I would agree. I thought he played well. I thought Gabriel looked good in the second half, but I'll give it to Chiquinho since he started to improve over the last couple of performances. Jumping into today, which I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about. Just bring up the numbers here. So today, Benfica goes away to SAD, who was the third best defense in the league, behind Sporting, who's first, and Benfica, who's second.
The hell is that?
Sounds like a dog toy.
Yeah, that was my dog.
Oh, jeez.
Benfica starts with Elton. He's back in goal. Diogo on the right. Veríssimo, Otamendi in the middle. Grimaldo on the left. Everton, Weigl, Pizzi, Rafa, Waldschmidt, Seferovic. A game that had two halves, which we've seen quite a bit of this year. In the first half, Grimaldo had that really good pass to Pizzi that he missed. Seferovic had that header, which I don't know how the hell, like the way he turned his head, it's like he had a square head. I don't know what the hell was going on. Belenenses SAD had that chance with Varela when he was at the edge of the box, left-footed. He shot it right at Elton. And at halftime, I have written here in my notes in capital letters, Pizzi, terrible first half.
Terrible.
He missed so many passes. It was just like incredibly frustrating. And then in the second half, we see a completely different team, a team that comes out full of energy. I think scoring their chances made the difference. I think it gave the team a little bit of confidence. But I will say that in the second half, the game plan changed, right? We were looking for more balls in behind. We were switching it up. There was just a different type of mindset going into that second half, which I think helped kind of open up the Belenenses SAD team. I'm going to start with Kenny. What did you think of the game? And actually, I'm going to leave this question for Oscar. And what did you think of Diogo's performance?
So this was a game of two different halves. I thought the first half, SAD was way more dangerous. They kept finding spaces behind our defense. I kept hearing a lot of Otamendi having to I actually heard, I don't know how many fouls, but Otamendi had a lot of fouls in that game because of all the defending he had to do. But then in the second half, they turned it around. It was not just turned it around from the first half, but they turned it around from the previous games that we're used to seeing from them. So they were finishing. B, they were not just finishing, but they were creating. They were finding that through ball. They were putting crosses in, and the Seth goal was gorgeous, right? That one touch, the cross, touch it in. You haven't seen that from them all season, and when we have, they've missed terribly. So that was really fun to watch. The it was just a completely different story in the second half. And then who did you mention? Diogo. Yeah, Diogo had another good game. I think he's really.
That ball that you gave Seth. That was a beautiful ball.
Yeah,
absolutely. Again, I mean, we need more of that, and he's just kind of growing into that position there. So it's nice to see. I'm not going to get too excited because I know that next game we could easily fall back down. But I mean, it's nice. It's nice to have a 3-game winning streak, not conceding again. One of the issues I'm having, and I'm starting to take a hard stance on it, is the the late conversation with Vlaco Dimos. That first half, he came out. They were probably both. I think they might have been offsides, but still, he came out on one cross that he was in no man's land. Could have been dangerous if he was onside.
Diving header.
Yeah. And what was the second?
The diving header. He came out to diving into the air.
Oh,
like the
yeah.
ball.
The one that Varela poked.
Yeah. What the hell was that? Like, again, just some shaky things that are going on. But then again, he did save one big ball at the end of the game in the second half. So he comes up with good saves, and he does hold on to the ball. One thing I've noticed is he doesn't give up many rebounds. But still, I'm a Vlaco Dimos guy, and when I see him coming out of net or making those kind of clumsy plays, it worries me, and I just wonder what's going on in practice that he's showing up to be more than Vlaco Dimos.
It's a good segue. Milton, I'm gonna go to you.
Yeah.
What did you think of the game? And I guess add to that piece that Kenny just talked about. I know you're a Elton Late fan, or you have some opinions in regards to that position. So what did you think?
You mind if I just start with the Hilton Late? It's fresh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
so ahead. I think with Vlaco, I think we've had him for 3 years now. This is his third season with us, and I think his weaknesses have not improved, such as handling, and crosses. Right. I think he has great reflexes. I think he's a good goalie. I don't think he's a terrible goalie. He's no Gilbert by any stretch, right? But I think that sporting game, yes, it's on Weigel, but I think he does a terrible job on that cross. He's always punching out balls. He's never catching it that you see with other good goalies. So I think that's my biggest problem with him. And again, in 3 years, he has not shown any improvement on that part of his game. Whereas Helton Litz, I understand, why a lot of fans, and especially you, Kenny, with coming out, and yes, it is dangerous. I mean, you've seen Anderson make some sloppy mistakes coming out. You've seen Neuer. It's just part of that game, right? When you come out and be aggressive, you're gonna have a bad clearance, right? But I think on crosses, I think he's better than Vlaco. I think reflexes, he's probably, in between the posts, he's probably not as strong, but I don't think he's that much weaker. I think his strengths outweigh Vlaco's strengths, if that makes sense. I think I would say his only. I think they're pretty much equal. Distribution-wise,
I was just gonna say the only advantage I see that Vlaco Dimos has over Elton is playing with his feet. He seems far more comfortable with the ball at his feet than Elton Late does.
Mm-hmm. That's one aspect I see too. And look, that those are all fair arguments. I will just say this, right? It doesn't hurt us until we get conceded, right? Until it affects us.
Correct.
So Vlaco Dimos example of Porto, right? He looked bad punching that ball out. We can see that goal. If today those two instances, result in a goal, we're having a completely different conversation, right? So as long as it doesn't affect us, I think it is what it is. But it is kind of something that we need to keep an eye on for sure.
I also think with a slow back line, that kind of gives us an advantage of him coming out, right? Vlaco is very slow on reacting to those balls, where I think Helton is very, he reacts quickly, comes out and clears the ball when need be. So I think that kind of plays an advantage, knowing that our back line is on the slower end. But going to the game, I thought the field was terrible, which has been the issue with Jean Mort, I think, all year. But it plays, it goes both ways. So I'm not saying that as an excuse, but I thought that was terrible. But really ticked me off that our first shot on net was in the 23rd minute. I thought we had 2 or 3 right after that, but a team like Benfica, 23 minutes without a shot on net, that's pretty ridiculous. But I think
that's fair. But I'm going to ask you this. I get Benfica didn't take their first shot till 20-something minute, right? But Belenenses also didn't really look threatening. They weren't really creating much. I don't know if you guys saw the Sporting match with Belenenses at the Jamor, or the Porto match with Belenenses at the Jamor. Right. I partially watched the Porto match there, but I did watch the Sporting match. And for anyone that watched it, Sporting got dominated, right? So like we always talk about like Sporting's the best team in the league, blah blah blah. Benfica may have not had a shot until the 20-something minute, but Benfica didn't really give them much to do, right? Like they had the play that Vidal had, which was a fortunate bounce from, I think it was Otamendi went to clear the ball, and it was a 50-50. It hits his leg and it lands right in front of him. They had a cross. They had a couple of offsides plays, but they didn't really like create any problems, right? And when I look at what Benfica did, right, and everyone harps on how bad we are, and what the other big clubs did there, right, the ones that I watched, I think Benfica did better there than some of the other teams, right? But again, like I feel like we put our side down to talk up the others, but in reality, I thought that we didn't. Even though that first half we didn't do much, I didn't think we were bad either.
Yeah, but you didn't think Belenenses looked way more dangerous than us that first half? I didn't
think so. I mean, Benfica had two clear chances.
I thought it was
That Pizzi one.
Yeah, but how many shots did they have on us again?
But not dangerous shots. Just shots are shots. I mean,
no. But they
had
missed
3 shots on target. They had 3 shots. One was at the end when Elton saves. The second one was Varela in the first half that he shot it right at him. And I don't even remember what the third one was.
I don't know.
So they had what? 1 shot on target in each half, 2 shots in the other?
I understand maybe not on target, but there were in that first half, from what I remember, they had some chances. Granted, they didn't put them on net, but they had some pretty open shots where we were like leaving them open to and they were threading balls through. They were finding space behind our back line. I mean, that was my opinion, especially towards the end of that first half. I thought they had a couple of chances. Granted, they didn't put them on net, but for me, they were pretty dangerous that first half. Belenenses.
Fair. Milton, would you add anything else to that?
Yeah, I was going to say we were missing a lot of passes in the final third as well. I thought from midfield to the final third, you can include, Grimaldo, Easy in that mix. I mean, we were just missing. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the pitch, but again, these are professional athletes. I don't know if you can really – I don't like blaming the pitch on for those reasons. But I also thought the counterattack. I remember one play specifically, Diogo recovers the ball, and we could have had a quick counter, and nope, he gave it to Waldo. Waldo gives it back to Otamendi, and then we're starting from the back. I think that's been one of the issues all year, is that the counter has been really, really slow compared to other Jorge seasons with us or any other team that he's coached. And I don't know if that's a problem with not having a solid number 8. I don't know, but pretty mind-boggling.
He's very much a transition type coach, right? Mm-hmm. Get the ball, recover it, and break. Jay, thoughts on the game? And I'm going to ask you this so then I can transition into Oscar. Thoughts on Pizzi?
All right. As far as the popcorn,
where's my popcorn?
As far as the game,
man!
Overall, the game,
all the tension knocked over Milton's flag.
Everyone, that's actually funny. As far as the game, I think Kenny touched base on it best. It was a tale of 2 halves. First half, really not much going on. I wouldn't say Belenenses SAD was like as dangerous as Kenny's saying, but they did create some opportunities in that first half where I could see why Kenny thought that they were a little dangerous. As far as the second half, I thought we just completely dumped on them. We had the intensity was so much different overall. The goals started happening real quick too. Seth got on the board, and then he hopefully continues his hot streak. He had 2 opportunities to score 2 back to back, which is like rare to see.
Mm-hmm. Nice ones too.
Beautiful balls. You had to give props to the fullbacks. You got to give props to Grimaldo on that first ball. You got to give props. That ball by Grimaldo was ridiculous.
Both of them.
And Diogo's through ball was fucking nice too. I mean, I think Seth's first goal was pretty much just tap it in. The second one, he had to put some finesse in it, and he just happy to see that he buried both. Overall, the game, it was just good to see 3 games in a row, 3 clean sheets, like they mentioned in Sportive. It was just good to see us rolling, and hopefully it continues on. Hopefully we don't play flat in the first half, and we can play 90 minutes of this type of style, because That's what this team lacks, is just having that consistency every single week. Can't even say the word.
We've only allowed two goals in the last 7 league games. It was Sporting.
Yeah, it was just
more than that since the
I also
1st of February.
want to give props to the center backs because they were winning a lot of balls in the air. Otamendi was flying all over the place. Lucas Veríssimo wins every single thing in the air that comes his way, from what I noticed. He has a good if you were talking MVPs, he has a good discussion to be probably involved in that discussion as well, because I thought he played really well. We probably do have our 2 center backs. I think you guys touched base on that earlier in the podcast. Otamendi and Vertonghen, I kind of want him to play with the 3 in the back. I really liked how we played with the 3. I want him to try that out, but we'll see what Jesus does. But as far as Lucas Veríssimo, he looks like a really good signing for us. So now talking about Peasy. Peasy, look, I started this, and I'm hopefully it continues like it did last time. I'm gonna start talking noise about Peasy. It's time, dude. It's like I haven't been on the podcast for the last couple of weeks, but can we say that Peasy's been great the last month or so? Because I don't think he's been impressive. He's supposed to be our best player. He's supposed to show up in big games, like big game Peasy.
Captain.
Where was he in Arsenal? Where was he in that game? Nowhere. This is what I mean. Like, this is what I meant by big game player. Like, we needed a result. We had the opportunity to go by Arsenal, and Peasy probably I don't think he played that well against Arsenal. I don't think he played that well this past whole month, like just since the beginning of January. Like, I really don't think he really has.
I think he's been terrible since last.
He started off terrible. He had a good month or so, and now he's back to shit. And it's what it is. He doesn't even start half the games. He's supposed to be our best player, but he's on the bench.
But you missed a couple of weeks, right, on the podcast. You didn't hear what Jesus had to say. He's recovering from COVID.
Everyone's recovering from COVID, dude. Everybody had COVID.
It's like Gattuso said a couple of years ago. Sometimes good, sometimes shit.
Yeah. But that's what I mean by like Peasy can't be our best player, because that's what we see. Like, I already expect this from Peasy. This is what he does every single time. He plays good for like stretches throughout the season. Sometimes he played like there was a couple of years that he actually played a balled out, but it's not consistent every single time. Like Nico Gaiten, every time Nico stepped on the field, I feel like we knew what the hell Nico was going to do on that field. Like Peasy, it's like today he couldn't even get a ball. He couldn't pass a ball straight to anybody. And then he comes down and he puts in Taran, even worse. And then Taran, Mike, what was your stat about Taran? Please tell me.
He had like 30% pass efficiency or something.
Terrible, dude.
And he played 20 minutes?
Something like that.
But you know what? I said my piece, and I
gotta tag an Oscar.
I'm probably gonna rebuttal with Oscar. He let me talk, so I'm gonna give.
I'm tagging an Oscar. Oscar, you're tagged.
You're up, buddy. You're up.
This is how I
keep that again.
yeah. This is how I defend Peasy, right? I had some time to look up stats since I knew you guys were freaking coming up at me with Peasy. So I'm gonna go with this. All right. So what changed from last year to this year? Coach, right? What was Peasy playing the last year?
Wing.
Right? A forward position. Not like I said from the beginning of the season, Peasy's position is not the 2 midfielders. It's not the 2 midfielders. He's not a defensive player. He's an attacking player. He's a number 10, a second forward. Was he not for the last 3-4 years with us? Yes, he was.
Hold on. Let me pause you quick. Who on here said that Peasy did well on a 2-man midfield?
Tank.
Me.
Tank.
Yeah,
and
I just wanted to add a little gas. I wanted to add a little gasoline to the fire. Okay, go.
You can add the gasolina.
And I disagreed. I said we haven't got tested with big teams with Peasy playing the number 2 midfielder.
And by the way, I also said he sucked on the wing too. I don't think he's that great overall. I think he's an average player.
He's a 10. He's a number 10 or second forward. He can score goals. Okay. All right. Let me just give you some stats since you guys probably forgot or have short-term memories or something like that.
Tell me a stat what he did in Arsenal. Give me one stat. Against Arsenal, what he did.
Hold on. Let him finish.
Yeah. Did I interrupt when you talked? Hold on. All right. So 2021, he has for the league alone 21 games, 14 starts. 14 starts for a player that's supposed to be our best player. All right, 3 goals. And those 14 starts, I can go back on the games and say how many minutes he played on those minutes. All right, 60 minutes, 72 minutes, 27 minutes, 58 minutes, 25 minutes, 64 minutes. What's changed? Okay, let me go back to 1920. 34 games. 2019 to 2020, last year. Wait. In the league alone, 34 games, 33 starts, 18 goals, 14 assists. 18-19, 34 games, 34 starts, 13 goals, 18 assists. 17-18, 33 games, 31 starts, 6 goals, 6 assists. 16-17, 33 games, 33 starts, 10 goals. What has changed since those years until now? Jesus. Why has he been sub-performing? Because he's playing in the position that's not his. Okay, like I said from the beginning. No, hold on. Just keep your hands there.
This
year, he has 21 games for the league, 14 starts, 3 goals, right? But for the Taça de Portugal, he has 2 games, 2 goals. For the Europa League, he has 8 games, 7 goals. Okay, this is only this year. When he plays, and he actually they give him some momentum. Pizzi's is one of our best players, if not our best player. So I don't give a shit if people say whatever. That's why he was basically his nickname was Maestro, our new Maestro. It just doesn't come from the blue or from the fucking one fan. It comes from the most fans. They call him Maestro for a reason, right? He's not a number 8. He's not an Enzo Perez. So for Jesus to start to keep making up these positions for these players, like he did for Fabio Contreras when it worked out for him, like he did for David Luiz on the left back and it didn't work out, Jesus has to stop being a fucking prick or an idiot or trying realizing that the best player plays where the best player plays, which is an attacking position, not a defending position. So if Jesus, that's why I don't like Jesus. Jesus is a fucking, to me, he's like I can go back to Flamengo, go back to the fuck wherever he wants to come back from. I don't give a shit. But Pizzi, I feel bad for the guy, and if I was him, I would ask to leave.
Please go.
All
right, no, that's fine.
See you later.
Who wants to?
Yeah, but then I want to see who scores your goals afterwards.
Hey, since you looked up stats, what's his stats playing that wing/4 position this year?
I don't know, but he doesn't start. The coach doesn't play him. He plays 25 minutes.
He's played in the wing. He's played in the wing.
You complained about Jota last year not getting steady starts.
Jota
right?
never got a shot.
I know, he never got steady starts. He always played 25 minutes at the end of the game, 30 minutes at the end of the game, and you never got the momentum, right? You have your best player that you legit thinks he's your best player, captain, that he's doing that to him now.
Because he's not been playing that good. That's why he's doing it.
He doesn't have. Yeah, he needs momentum. He needs to start that every single game in order to.
He's started games and he has not done anything.
Yeah, playing midfield, number 8.
Listen, he's a veteran. He doesn't need. He's not a little kid like Jota. Jota's 19, 18 years old.
Dude,
he's playing. He's 29. He's a veteran. He goes into a game. He knows what he has to do. He needs to do.
No, he doesn't know what he has to do.
He does.
He's not a defensive.
I'm pretty sure Jorge Jesus has a game plan for the guys to go play.
All right, let's think about this. Jesus,
want to go
I actually wait. I just actually saw an interview. I saw an interview from Jesus. Mike, you saw that. One of the Portuguese podcast guys put it out today. He said Pizzi is attacking is 1+10, no matter what, attacking. I'll never play him on the position. This is when he was coaching, I believe, Braga, right? Braga. He was coaching Braga, and Pizzi came up from this Juvenis, and he goes, Pizzi. Even at that point, he goes, I will never play Pizzi on a defensive position. His position is him +10 going forward. Okay, never a defensive position. And then he did it again. He did it again this year when he came back. Pizzi shouldn't have. Yeah, he shouldn't be playing a role that's defensive. All of a sudden, he playing number 8. Get the fuck out of here. Make up your mind. I know
not even on the wings, not even up front. He doesn't do nothing.
Oh, dude, can I read the stats again when he played the wing? Can I read it? All right, I'll read them again. Hold on, I'll read them again.
Tell me what he did.
34 games, 33 starts, 18 goals, 14 assists. 2 years ago, 34 games, 34 starts, 13 goals, 18 assists. 3 years ago. Again? Because I can go back 5 years if you want.
What did he do this past month? Read me his stats.
He's not playing his fucking role.
He, according to you, hasn't played his role all season.
Yes, and that's why Jesus sucks for a reason. To me, he sucks for a reason, and that's why
even when last year, towards the end of the season, when he was playing his role, he was playing good.
Him and Rafa were our best players last year. You guys can say they were
playing good. You're gonna really say that they were playing good?
They weren't?
They were not playing.
Hey,
good
let
at
me
all.
see.
Who?
Last year, 34
Last year,
games,
towards
43
the end-
starts,
I said
18 goals,
last
14
year-
assists.
Last year, towards the end of the season, when after the COVID hit and we had the season, when we had like those summer games, who the hell played good on Benfica?
Yeah, but you're
Nobody.
minimizing the season.
Minimizing what?
You're minimizing the end of the season compared to the beginning. What happened at the end of last
There was
season?
a lot of games in the season. The season
Yeah,
was
but-
pretty much made.
I just told you the
could've won
stats of
this
last
season.
year.
We could have won this season on those games during the summer, but no, we choked. Our best player choked.
No, but
Our
Ted,
first-
you're saying
those Peasies, they were there. You got to tell me that they actually played good during that stretch.
So who
Please
you
don't
blame?
Please
Who do you
stop.
blame?
Everyone, it's the dude at this point.
Who do you blame?
I blame the players.
The players. So what's Peasy is just one of them.
Peasy's the best player, so he's probably going to take the most blame.
Dude, he had the best season
in all
last year.
sports. When the team loses, who gets the blame? The LeBron Jameses of the world, the Tom Brady's of the world, the best players on the team.
Right.
They get the
Coaches
biggest
get
blame.
blamed too, though.
So if Peasy's our best player, he needs to be the biggest one that gets blamed. It's
Yeah,
simple.
but he had his best season last year.
Okay.
Best season.
So it's
Yeah.
So it's okay. Peasy gets washed. Peasy had the best.
No, guess he did his
We had a
job.
season- we
If
had a chance
everybody
to win-
Tank,
we had a
if-
chance to win- listen, we had a chance to win the season last year. Okay, we had a chance during the summer, even during after COVID. We had a chance. Where was you guys gonna say that Peasy showed up? Peasy played well.
But what
Please
we're
stop.
saying, no,
Please
what Oscar and I think I'm trying to say is, no one after the COVID break, no one played well. You can't just minimize Peasy. You can't just say Peasy had a bad season because of what happened towards the end of the season. What about the beginning of the season? That doesn't count.
Yeah.
He had the best season of his career.
If everybody had the season that Peasy had, we were champions.
Okay,
Do you guys not agree?
And guess what? We were not champions.
I know.
And we had-
If everybody on that team had the season Benfica that PC had, we would be champions.
No
if
shit.
you don't agree with that, then
I would score like a million goals. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, we would win the
with-
the league. If everybody had the season
Where was
PC
he?
had,
So where was he when he was a big time player, Peasy? Where was he in those big time games?
hey,
That's
did
what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say is where was he in these big time games?
wait, didn't we
He had
just
a big time game
didn't we
during
just
the
have
summer.
didn't we just had an
Where was
argument? Didn't we
Where
have
was he
just
against
like,
Arsenal?
a month, 2 months ago, we had this argument. And you said, "Shit, I'll give it to you guys. I'll give it to you guys." You said, "I guess he's a big time player now." So now you change your mind. You go back and forth like a Cinderella.
Hold on.
No, I did not
Hold
say.
on, I got
Yeah,
some stats for you. Hold on, I got some stats for you before I'm
let's
going to
go.
tell you the stats.
I said he's actually played good this week. That's
Hold
why
on,
I
hold
gave
on,
it
hold
to him.
I
He
want
scored against
Milton
Portugal,
to
I gave it to him.
I want Milton to chime in, and then I'm going to drop some stats here that's just going to fucking blow you guys out of the water. And the boys like way guerra. I can't wait to see this. Milton, let's hear it. What's your opinion
No,
here?
I think since last year, which is around this time when we started falling, right? The cliff, as Oscar likes to say, was around this time last year. I know the whole team started playing bad, but especially PC. I think as a leader, as a captain in any sport, when your teammates, are struggling, it is your job as a captain and a leader to step it up a notch. And I think since then, it has been consistent. He might have one good game out of 10. And I even argue with my friends, Portuguese, and even other Benfica fans who they think Pete's our best player. And when he's on, it's between him or Hoffa. But I think when he's on, yes. But I think his attitude has been terrible. There's been rumors about he's a locker room issue. Who knows if that's true or not?
because the media says.
No, I don't. Who knows? Who knows if it's right or wrong, right? But I think whether you put him out wide, he's played out wide. He's played in that center forward position. He's played as an 8. You guys not Zed. Like I am done. I am completely out on Peter. It started from last year. He has not improved one bit. So.
All right, you guys talk about last year.
Just one thing. If you want to paint JJ for not playing people in the right position, did he turn Diego Gonzalez from a winger to a right back? It's working out great.
He turned Fabio Contreras. I said the same thing about Fabio Contreras, but look, what was Gilberto doing wrong for Diogo Gonçalves to get the start?
What was he
Maybe
doing
he's
wrong?
outperforming
Cross the
him.
ball in.
Gilberto was not playing well.
Jesus' job is to play the 11 best players. So maybe he's seeing Diogo outperforming him in practice, and he's like, I got to play the kid. He's playing better. It's really that simple. And it probably happened the same thing with Late and Odi. I don't know. We're not there in practice. But that's my guess. At the end of the day, you guys know Jesus. Jesus is going to play the 11 best players that probably played good in practice that week. I feel like that's what he's always done.
And that's why I went fourth.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to give you guys some information here, okay? Last year, Pizzi had 51 appearances, 30 goals, 19 assists. Okay, so he contributed to 49 goals last year across all.
You had a horrible season. That's why we lost the Campeonato.
Hold on. Calm me. Okay, you guys said, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. There was a statement said that after COVID, Pizzi didn't show up.
I want to hear
We
this
all in
one.
agreement? We all in agreement?
I'm not.
That was said.
I said I don't think he played that well after COVID.
Yeah, that's what Mikey just said.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Okay, meus camaradas. First game after COVID, Benfica 0-0 Tondela. Okay. Second game, Benfica 2-2 Portimonense. Pizzi with a goal and an assist. Benfica Rio Ave 2-1 win. Pizzi with an assist. Benfica Santa Clara. Benfica lost 4-3 at home. Pizzi with an assist. Benfica lost to Marítimo. No stats. Benfica beat Boa Vista 3-1. A goal and assist. Famalicão 1-1. A goal. Guimarães 2-0 win. No stats. Aves 4-0 win. A goal and assist. And Sporting an assist. So since the pandemic, after the pandemic, Benfica played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. Pizzi scored 4 goals and had 6 assists.
Oh, that's horrible, though, after the pandemic. That horrible.
And what was our record?
But you blaming Pizzi, the best player, but he did his job.
Listen, so the only thing that matters to you guys is goals and assists.
No, it's not.
Is that what you're telling me? Because how many of those goals were PKs? How many of those were PKs?
I don't know how many were PKs.
I can tell you right now. Hold on.
But
while I look this up,
but you still have to score them, dude. We've said this before.
How were these assists? Like, were they like ones that you just have to like tap? Oh, no.
It doesn't fucking matter. You just talked about Gustavo Ramos putting in the back of the net.
Care about is like he could have had a goal and assist and have like one of the.
Hold on. What I feel like you listen. I'm not a defender of Pizzi, right? I've been upset with him the last couple months. This season, I think he's been on and off. But you're saying that our best player needs.
I'm saying he's an average player.
But what you're saying is our best player needs to show up. And our best player showed up. And how do you show up? You score goals and get assists. And he scored goals and got assists in that last stretch last year. So that, to me, looking at those numbers, that to me tells me that Pizzi showed up because he scored goals and got assists. But those around him didn't show up as much. That's what I see from those stats. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. But again, I'm not a defender of Pizzi. I've had my frustrations, but I also think we can't disregard the fact that he's been our best player for the last 4 years. His worst year was with JJ in the last year that JJ was here. And this year, he's on track to have his second worst year at Benfica, again with JJ.
So common denominator is?
JJ. Or him.
And somebody just looked up the stats. 1 PK, and those stats that are at post-COVID.
So he was involved in 3 goals in 6 assists.
No, he scored. No, he's involved.
So he scored 4.
Well, 4 goals. He scored 4, but
yeah, and 6
one as a PK. I'm with you, Mike. I think he's had an on and off season. Not just because of the inconsistent play with Jesus, but because of his playing style. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not playing well. Like he had a good run for like 4 or 5 games, and now he's struggling. So it's just one of those seasons up and down. But I won't sit here and say that he's an average player, that he sucks. I mean, he had his best season at Benfica last year. Like that's you can't just gloss that over because he had a bad. Like what? How many games was that? 10.
Because
10
the
games?
team is playing bad this season. The whole team went in 4th place.
So the other 20 games like don't matter. That he scored practically almost 30 goals. In the other 20 games, it doesn't matter. Like no, I mean, he's not an average player. He's a good player. He's having a bad year. He's struggling for consistent play. But it's also an atypical year. Like there's a lot of shit going on. COVID, not practicing, being out. Like there's a lot of factors that we can't just like. Forget about. Like there's a reason why he's not playing that well. It could be Jesus. It could be there's just a lot of factors involved. Position. Like there's a lot of factors.
Do you think, given ultimately that the captain ban when?
No, because he's still the captain. PC's still the captain when they both play.
Well, agreed. But I think at that time, if I recall, there was a couple of games where they played together, and ultimately.
No. You're
Milton,
wrong. PZ's always captain when they both start. But it could be that when PZ comes in as a sub, that he doesn't get the armband. That could be true. But when they both start, PZ is always the armband.
Jay, let me ask you a question.
Oh,
go ahead. No, go ahead, Kenny. Then I'll.
well, I was gonna say, Milton. I don't think it's necessarily that when Otamendi came in, he got the captaincy and that kind of drew a wedge in the locker room with PZ. I do think though there is something going on with PZ in the locker room, but not with the other players. With Jesus and where he's playing, like to Oscar's point, position wise, minutes wise, like that. I think the minutes thing especially is what's troubling, or what's drawing a wedge between PZ and Jorge Jesus. Like playing 25 minutes. Recently, like I don't think he's played like a full game in how long?
No, he hasn't. You go back to almost the whole season. He hasn't played a full game. He played.
Yeah, so
it's
coming out at halftime. Like as a captain, coming out at halftime, I think that rubs him wrong, and I think that's kind of messing around with his head and causing a little bit of an issue with.
You have to think of all best players in every single team, right? The best players in every single team. When a coach starts, like, look at Ronaldo. Ronaldo's the best player of Real Madrid. When the coaches start taking him out at 70 minutes in and whatnot, Ronaldo throw fits, right? Even though Ronaldo's playing horrible that game. He was just like, and then he'd throw a fit, go to the media, say he wanted to leave and all of that. All best players they like to have the consistency play. And he has proven the last 4 years that he can be a starter for us and play well for us, score for us, and be our main guy. So for Jesus to come in this season and flip everything around is where we are. This is why we are where we are. And blame COVID, blame whatever the fuck you want. Jesus messing around, trying to be the fucking genie in the bottle type of guy coming in and moving pieces around is what's fucking us up. That's my point.
So I'm going to ask you, Jay. Do you consider Bruno Fernandes an average player or a good player?
Bruno's a good player.
Okay. Bruno Fernandes
let's see the stats.
In the 18-19 season, Bruno Fernandes had 32 goals and 18 assists.
Bruno Fernandes is also a leader on the field.
Hold on. Let
them talk.
He had 32 goals and 18.
I look at more than stats as a player.
No, but the same position they were playing.
Hold on. I'm just saying he scored 32 goals and 18 assists in 18-19. Okay. PZ had Bruno Fernandes-like numbers. He had 30 goals and 19 assists last year. And let me remind you, Bruno Fernandes plays behind the striker. PZ plays on the right. For a right midfielder to score and contribute to that many goals is out of the... You go find me a player that plays on the wing anywhere in the world that contributes that many goals. Not just goals and assists, just is involved in that many goals. Right, other than like the Messis and the Ronaldos that play out wide, but how many guys that?
But those Messis and Ronaldos don't defend, and PZ had to defend. They had to. Right. That wing was off PZ.
But I'm not a defender of PZ. I just think that he does get a lot of stick, but it's undoubted. Like you can't doubt his contribution to Benfica since he's been here. Like numbers wise, what counts as goals and assists, and those are stats. Those stats are what win you games. And those stats, you can't argue against them in his time at Benfica. Again, in this season, this year, he's only played 90 minutes, 8 games this year in 37 appearances.
Yeah.
Right? So he hasn't completed many games. Again, why? That's up to the coach.
I think that's the craziest stat that he's only played 90 minutes.
He's only 90 minutes, 8 games.
I think that's the biggest stat like anyone's dropped today. I didn't realize that.
Dude, I was telling you,
the way he's played in these games, he doesn't deserve to finish the 90 minutes.
I don't disagree with you either. I don't disagree. I have to see, like I'm on both sides, right? Like I can defend him.
I understand what he did in the past. I get it. I understand that. But at the end of the day, what you did in the past is cool and all. But at the end of the day, you're Benfica. You have to play the best. If he's not doing shit on the field, why is he going to keep playing? You got to take him out. he hasn't done shit this year. Like, I really don't think he's had probably 8-9 good games this year. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's only played 13.
He's played more than 13 games this whole season.
Like starts.
He's got 37 appearances this year.
Yeah, how many starts?
And I don't care. I'll give him out of those 37. I give him an 8 or 9 good appearances.
7, 21, 22, 26. 26 started. 26 starts out of 37.
By the way, I never got to finish what I wanted to say. You wanted to compare Bruno Fernandes' stats and all that. You guys can compare those stats all you want. Dude, you cannot compare Bruno Fernandes and Pizzi, because if you guys say that they're the exact same player, you guys don't. In my opinion, you don't know.
I'm not.
You don't know.
Dude,
Listen. Well, listen. Let me finish. Take it easy. Let me finish. What I'm trying to say is, you can't. Bruno brings so much more to the field, so much more than Pizzi. Bruno tries, even if he gets beat, he's hustling back and he's trying to win the ball. Like, he tries. Pizzi, he gives up half the time. You see him how he defends sometimes. It pisses you off. And I get it. He's not a defender. Bruno Fernandes is not a defender either, but he hustles back. Rafa's not a defender either, but he hustles back. Luka Waldschmidt's not a defender, but I saw him hustle back today too. It doesn't matter. It's about effort. It's about
you
trying.
don't see Pizzi hustling back?
No, on defensively, he does not really.
You
try
don't
that
watch
hard.
the games again, bro. Clean your lenses.
Whatever.
They're definitely hustling.
You can have your opinion, and I have mine.
But
I honestly don't think Pizzi is in the caliber to be a starter on Benfica right now. Not right now. Not as we speak and how he's playing. He's not that good to be playing as a starter on Benfica.
On Benfica? Who's
right now, the way he's playing, the way he is playing.
Yeah. So, but you don't like Tarat either, though.
No, he's
so who can play there?
Who's going to play then?
I don't know.
So on Benfica today, it's
honestly, Chicão. That's probably what I would throw in there.
Oh no! Get out of here!
You just lost all your value.
What value do you have?
He's the best player.
He's the best player, but we're in fourth place.
He doesn't.
We're in fourth place.
I don't think Pizzi is playing at number 8. Right? That's my. I've been saying it for the whole season. You can play
it and have to help your point of view, and like whenever I say something, it just goes the opposite. It's
I agree. I agreed with you, and he played that position, and he played good against Porto. Right? We all agreed to that. Did we not all agree to that? Against Porto, he played that position, and he had a phenomenal game, defensively and offensively. Something that was up his ass that he was up back and forth, helping Weigl in the middle, and he played really good in that position. But he's not most games. He's not that good there, and the stats have been proven that he's not that good there, right? And then when he starts getting less minutes, it feels like Zoo just wants to get rid of him. That's what it feels like.
I'm going to ask you guys this question before I ask you the MVP. At the end of the season, I think one or the other stays. I don't think both of them stay. Them being JJ or Pizzi. Do you guys think they both stay or one goes? And if one goes, who is it? Milton, I'll start with you.
JJ stays. I've been wanting Pizzi out since, like I said, since last year. I think you want this quick, or you want like a full example?
Just give me your best 60 seconds.
Yeah. So basically, I don't think JJ's at fault for this season. I think there's a lot of things that's happened, starting from up top. Lucio Vieira. But anyway, I think JJ stays and Pizzi can take a hike. Mandou gajo para Arábia.
MLS.
Or MLS.
I hope it comes to Miami.
They run too much in the MLS for him. Jay, what do you think?
I agree with Milton. We should have, if Pizzi had this great year last year, somebody should have came in and knocked him and paid for him, but nobody obviously wants him. So I would say Pizzi leaves.
It's a valid point as well. Kenny?
So I am actually going to agree that Pizzi, it is time for Pizzi to go. I think if one had to go, I think it would be Pizzi. I think there needs to be a whole new change to that midfield. To be honest, I don't really like any of our options except for Weigl in the midfield. So I think that needs to be revamped a lot next year. I don't know if it's going to happen though.
Oscar?
Who I want to go, Jesus. I want him to go today. who was gonna go, and if I was him, I would go asked to go too. Would be Peasy, and on my goodbye message, I would say, "You fucking Benfica fans, ungrateful son of a bitches."
We got to clip.
I was just gonna say that I'm gonna have to make a clip of this one.
Yeah.
Man,
With the
was good.
smirk.
It's not that we're ungrateful. He's just not performing.
I would have been on a microphone right in the middle of the Stadio de Luz. You fucking Benfica fans, ungrateful fucking son of a bitches.
Hey, it happens, dude.
But
When
question
you're at a
for you.
club,
Just
when you're at a club like Benfica, you have to produce every year.
All right, that's right.
So
whatever
would
you
you play
want.
Hoffa on the left and Peasy on the right? Is that
Peasy
what
number
you would
10.
do?
Peasy will be behind the striker. Number 10. It will be a triangle in the midfield, and if you have a number 8 in a defensive midfield, like a Weigl, like we got like a Weigl and a
Go
Tabarata.
get your coaching card, dude.
No, I'm not. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm just giving my opinion.
You obviously know more. You obviously know more about tactics than fucking.
So would you sit Waldo?
Yes, I would still Waldo. The kid is young. He's got time to come in and start playing.
Good. Waldo's been
Vou
playing
lá
good.
Português, jogares.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no,
Waldo needs to learn Portuguese.
Yeah, that's his
According to
excuse.
That
Before we
bothers
go
me,
into
by the
that-
way. I know you guys talked. Like, how the hell do we not have an interpreter?
Hold on, we're going into that next. What's your Oscar? Who was your MVP of the game today?
Well, obviously you have to go with Seth because he scored 2 goals, right? But I really like Grimaldo. He had those assists to me were like more than a half a goal, like the on the platter. Like, and I know Tank said that the first goal was a tap in, but that ball's in the air. That's a one-time shot. That to me is harder than the second goal. He misses that.
Yeah.
He whiffs that because that ball's in the air. It's hard to just connect with that ball and put it in the net, right? So I really like that play. I think Seth did his 2 goals to me, 1 man of the match, obviously.
Kenny?
Yeah, I mean it's got to be Seth for the goals and how he played in that second half. But I'm actually surprised looking at the numbers there that Otamendi got 6.2. I mean, every 5 minutes I heard Otamendi's name during that game. So it's like hard for me to believe that he got such a low rating on the app. I thought he played
Milton?
well.
I would say Seth, but I really liked Gonzalez too. But Seth for the 2 goals, of course.
Jay?
I would go with Seth as well, but I would go if I had to pick another guy, I'd probably be Lucas Verissimo. I thought he was very dominant in the air, won a lot of balls. Otamendi too, which Kenny said he got a 6.2, which surprises as well.
Yeah. I would go with Grimaldo. Those 2 crosses were like he was just whipping
Beautiful.
balls into the box.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
We saw glimpses of the Grimaldo that we've seen in the past years where, again, defensively he has issues, but offensively his output is very good. And those crosses are like half goals. Like if you have a semi-competent striker on the end of those, you're scoring a lot of those chances.
Maybe he's off Twitch now.
Maybe. And he had that – don't forget that pass that he had to Peasy in the first half. Like he completely took 3 defenders out of that play, and he could have had 3 assists if you think about it.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah. So off the back of that, there was something else that I wanted to mention and I forgot. Oh, Lucas Verissimo, number 4, scores his first goal at the Jamor. Luizão, number 4, scored his first goal at the Jamor as well for Benfica. Coincidence.
Against Porto?
Interesting.
How old is Verissimo?
24?
25.
Let me see.
I thought he was older. I thought he was 26.
Let me see. He is 25.
Hey, that's a good age.
He just turned 25 in July.
I'm a number 4. Maybe I need to go play at the Jamor, get my goal in there.
You know, another good thing is we've been struggling to get center backs to contribute with goals, and this is good that we get one. 3 games in, he's already scoring. It's promising because we had 1 goal from.
Yeah, but I mean the ball hit.
I know, but
the ball hit him in the chest.
It did, but he had to be there.
He was there.
How many balls has Vertonghen hit over the net by himself?
Yeah, but let's not say like that this was like a cross and he smashed it in with his head. Like we still haven't scored from corner kicks like that. Like that's not. I mean, the ball literally bounced and hit him in the
Dude,
chest.
lately, all our corner kicks are coming off like we're doing like special plays, and it's bothering me.
Fucking up,
dude. It's pissing me off. Sometimes they can't. I'm like, dude, well, there you go.
They float them in. When they take an actual corner kick, they float them in, so you can't do anything with those either. They suck at corner kicks. We had 10. There was a stat I saw: 10 corner kicks in the Taça game. What do we do with them? Or 18. I think I don't know if it was 10 or 18 or whatever.
Who usually takes the corners?
Yeah.
Does the ball hit the penalty kick box? Does it hit there?
It's Oscar's boy.
Why is it the defenders are getting to them and not our
Everton
forwards?
takes him too, no? Everton
takes him. Jogosov takes him. Grimaldo takes him.
Why do you have to defend every single flaw he has? He just has a flaw.
I know, but listen. Why are we talking about Waldo or Everton or Grimaldo? They all take them.
Most of them. He takes the majority of them.
They all take them. Nobody scored on them. They all look the same.
Of them are taken by Peasy. Just like in
hockey,
he's not in the field 50% of the time. He's not in the field 50% of the time. How's he taking those?
I guarantee you, if you count all the minutes, I guarantee he was there for like at least 75% of the time.
I think Benfica scored 1 goal in the league from corner kicks this season, and it was Ruben Diaz.
Can you let me know who assisted it?
It might. I don't remember. I remember the goal. I don't remember who crossed it though. It might have been Peasy though.
It was Peasy. I remember that goal.
No one's gonna check.
Google that shit.
Today's goal.
I got it right here.
And you take Gonzalez's goal against Arsenal. That's 2 goals from set pieces.
Who do you score against, Mike?
Peasy?
Ruben Diaz goal.
I got it right here.
Who do you score?
Moreirense. I got it up right here. Hold on, I'll tell you who assisted.
It's not gonna be. It's not Peasy.
It was Tarat. Watch it be Tarat.
Peasy didn't even play.
It was a corner kick. Tarat doesn't take corner kicks.
Oh, I got it right here.
No,
it was Everton. Everton.
Was it?
Yeah, I remember.
No, in the celebration.
He was hoping no one would go check.
I remember.
Yeah, you guys shouldn't have checked. Fuck you guys.
You should have private messaged me, Oscar. I wouldn't have checked.
It was like a 50-50 chance.
Wow, dude, that was a great ball too. I'm watching the highlight. Wow.
Then why doesn't Everton take all the
I've never seen
kicks?
Peasy do that before. Wow, that's amazing. I'm just
moving to the last 2 topics. Waldschmidt, JJ made some comments the other day, and then Waldschmidt also made some comments. So JJ says, Waldschmidt não fala português, ele não percebe o que eu digo nos treinos.
I'm Portuguese. I don't understand what he says.
and then Waldschmidt came out and said, we make it work. We speak a little bit of Portuguese, a little bit of English in practice, but we make it work. I guess curious to get you guys' opinion, and it might not be a long discussion, but for me, it seems very concerning at the fact that at a club like Benfica, you have player right. Like the expectation is that they're going to take Portuguese courses, to better themselves in terms of being able to communicate with the team. He's a young player. Yes, English is universal language. I can't believe that he doesn't understand what's going on in practice because of all the players that speak English in training. I don't know if you guys noticed today before the game or at the beginning of the game, or it might have been halftime, but Rafa was basically like translating for him on the sideline when JJ was talking to him. Do you guys find that concerning that a player that's been at the club for 7 months, 6 months, 8 months, and then the coach comes out and says that? And again, take it with a grain of salt, right? We know how JJ is, and sometimes he just talks out of his ass. But is anyone else? Do you think this is more JJ being JJ? Or do you think it's an actual? I can't believe that it's an actual problem. But
Mike,
Kenny, I'll start with you.
Well, did you say that he have something to say? I don't know if I didn't hear if Waldo said it.
Waldschmidt came out after and basically they asked him, and he basically said yes, I don't know Portuguese very well, but we make it work in practice. I speak a little bit of Portuguese. He speaks a little bit of English. I would love to hear JJ speak in English in practice, if I'm being honest. But again, with everyone around him, right? Seth speaks German. He played. Yeah, Weigl German. Too. Weigl speaks German. Seth played in Germany. He speaks German. They speak English, right? I can't believe that they don't communicate enough. But do you think it's JJ being JJ, or do you think it's an actual issue?
So I think a little bit it has to do with like Jay. I don't think it's to the extent that they're not understanding each other and he's not understanding what to do in training. I think JJ's kind of exaggerating a little bit and being, JJ the entertainer there with that comment. But it is concerning that they don't have either an interpreter, for him if it's that big of a struggle. B, there seems to be other Germans, Weigel's on there. There's no issue with Weigel. Maybe he understands a little bit more Portuguese, but like he could be helping the kid out. But a part of me also kind of blames Jesus, even though I know Jesus' English is to the extent that, take it easy, like he doesn't know how to say much more than that. But I think a little bit English is the international language, right? JJ, I know he's old and he's in his ways and whatever, but knowing the career that he's had, he could have also learned a little bit more of English to be able to communicate as an international coach, to be able to communicate with his players. Like he's got a squad of internationals. He should be able to speak a little bit of English to get by through trainings and games and shit. So a little bit of me is kind of like, even though JJ is a stubborn old guy and he's probably not going to learn English if he hasn't learned by now. But like as a professional coach with an international squad, you should learn a little bit of English to get through this.
Yeah, and just to read the comment, he said, ele só fala inglês e, portanto, o que eu passo no treino é em português e ele não percebe o que eu digo. So for those of you in English listening, he only speaks English, and therefore everything that I say in practice is in Portuguese, and he doesn't understand what I say. I'm just going to go up the line here. Oscar, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, all right, so they say Benfica offers todas as condições, blah 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 blah, but they can't find somebody. Obviously, he's talking about Waldo, right? Not understanding Portuguese. Today they're in the game. I don't know if you guys, without fans, you can hear perfectly what people say, right? Did you guys hear when they were setting up for the wall and Elton Leite was calling for the 5 guys to play on the wall, right? Mm-hmm. He kept saying 5 na parede, 5, and then he goes Adele. 5. So remember in English, right? So does Adele not speak Portuguese either? Like that's 5 and 5. I mean, if you don't understand 5, then you don't fucking speak Portuguese, right? So I heard that very clearly.
But he knows this. This is 5 and everything.
Yeah, I'm like 5. Yeah, like so it's a Jesus thing, and we keep talking about it's just Jesus being Jesus. We went through I don't want to bring politics into it. We went through the fucking Trump's presidency, Trump being Trump. Let's in a pass for him. This reminds me of the same shit. Like Jesus being Jesus. It's not a fucking pass. Don't come to the media and talk shit about the kid. And when you have a bunch of guys in there and you have condições to provide an interpreter for this kid in English, at least English. So him coming to the media and making the kid look bad is stupid. It's not Jesus being Jesus. It's Jesus being a fucking idiot.
Fair. Milton?
Fair. Yeah, it's not like the guy is speaks Chinese or Arabic, right? I don't know. Like I'm assuming that João Deus, the assistant, speaks English. But I remember too when Scolari, I don't know if you guys remember this, when Scolari got hired as a Chelsea manager, he said soccer only has one language because there was some concerns about him communicating with his players at that time. And I remember him saying, soccer, there's only one language. My players will understand, what I have to say. And that kind of brought me back to that. So I think it's, for a club with the size of Benfica, I think it's, it's embarrassing. I think it's just an excuse. I don't know. It could have been Jesus just being Jesus. I don't know. But there has to be someone there that can kind of help the kid out. But I know Weigel speaks, really good Portuguese. I've heard him speak in a couple of interviews. He speaks actually just as good as, us here. I don't know.
Doubt it, but okay.
Jay, what do you think?
Honestly, I find it really hard to believe that there's not an interpreter over there. And as far as the condições, that shouldn't be on the trainer. That should be like on the Direção and all that, the president, to give him those things. Like, Jesus, that shouldn't be on Jesus to have like, now I gotta make sure. No, I want him focused on soccer. I don't want him to worry about who he needs to fucking interpret to. Like, that should be someone on the data sound side, be like, yo, get someone there. Jesus talks to make sure these guys, everyone fucking understands. Maybe it's an assistant coach job or something. Like that shouldn't be on. Like the conditions. I'm sure if they think players want it, they can have it. Like that's what I'm saying.
Can I say something? Before you go to the next subject, Ken, hold on 1 second. But didn't Jesus bring his whole staff, assistants, and he brought the whole staff. He brought the whole staff. So some of that had to be part of the English interpreter. It had to be in there because that's his whole staff.
So I get it. But like, I think it's him being him. I think it's just him kind of making a story out of nothing. Kind of poking, like trying to make a story so people talk about it and kind of reflect, takes it off the team a little bit. He kind of calls out, but he's not. I think he probably had a talk with Waldo and he's like, I'm going to say something stupid. I feel like that's what happened. Like, it's just like, read the comment. It's just like, maybe I feel like Waldo knows what's going on practice, but he doesn't understand every single word that's just being said out of Jesus' mouth. Maybe I think that's what Jesus was trying to say. Like, he doesn't understand every single word that comes out of my mouth because I speak Portuguese. But like he understands what the fuck's going on during what I asked him what to do during practice and stuff like that. I think it's just Jesus playing a game with the media pretty much.
Do you think maybe because there's starting to be like talks about Waldo's struggling, blah blah blah, and this kind of takes like, okay, he's struggling because he doesn't understand him during practice, and maybe that's why he's,
you know what I mean? Like maybe like a story kind of relieve some pressure off to him. And like kind of put it on Jesus and be like, it's my fault because I'm not communicating better with him. Like,
I wish
something like that.
I wish there was an excuse for Everton though, because I mean, there's none for him. I mean, he speaks perfect Portuguese and Brazilian. There's no excuse for why he's stuck in.
Yeah, but you're right. He's not talked about when we're talking about Waldo.
Fair. Before we go on to the last topic of the referees, I just wanted to call out here. So we have our prediction league. For the last two games. So from this crew here, Oscar got the studio game right, 2-0. And for today's game, Jay got the score right from this crew here, 3-0. So I didn't add up the scores from today, but just looking at it, with Jay's win, he moves up to 13 points, so it puts him in tied for third place with me. Oscar's got 19 points, so he's in first place.
Well, say I don't know shit, right?
No, hold on. Oscar got 1 point today. Oscar's tied for first place with 17 points.
But I'm so negative. All the negative results I came up with, so negative.
What am I at?
Kenny is tied for fourth. There's 4 people with 12 points. So you're not.
Ooh, I creeped up on the standings, huh?
Or fifth. Yeah. You're fifth, Kenny. Yeah. Jay moved up to top 4. He's got a European spot in the prediction.
The champions! I'm coming for it, Oscar.
SLBES says it's JJ being JJ. He's trying to save his own ass. Manny says Darwin must struggle understanding Portuguese too.
I think honestly Darwin needs to have like a smaller shoe size.
Darwin's hurt though right now, right?
Well, hurt.
Yeah, well.
Darwin, dude, if Seth's scoring these goals, watch, Darwin might not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, Seth scores today. Let's go to the next game. Let's see if he scores again.
He's still our best scorer.
It's fine.
He's still our top scorer right now.
Darwin's a long-term project.
He's still our best misser too.
Yeah, but he still has 11 goals. Second place behind Pedro Gonçalves, the guy from Sporting. So, but yeah, second place in goal scorers in the league this year.
Yes.
Do you guys think that Pot is good?
Yes, I do.
I think he's a good player.
I think he's good.
He's a hustler.
I think he's putting out numbers better than what he is.
I think the same thing about that kid.
I exactly see how you feel about that. That's exactly how I feel about Peasy. Because I agree, and I actually kind of agree with what you. I actually think the same thing what you said. I think he puts up numbers, but I think he's like an average player. Like, but he's putting up numbers. Like he's doing well.
I think
he did well last year too. He did well last year too.
What my thing is. Okay, Pot is having a season, right? But then if he sucks next year, he'll be average, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like an average player has like Diogo Jota for Liverpool. This year he's having a breakout season. Do I think he's a player to put those numbers up? I don't think so. I don't think he's that player. But he'll prove me wrong if he does it 3 years in a row consistently, right? And Pizzi has been doing that. So to me, that's what makes him above average is the consistency of every season he's been pointing up those numbers. If he has one season and then forget it, then that's a player that's average. He just had a good season. But he's been doing it for 4 or 5 years.
I don't think Porto will be able to keep up those numbers. I don't think, but time will tell. But I don't think he's as good overall as his numbers say this year, right? I think things are going well for them. It's been working out, but I don't, especially given the type of player he is.
And just to say, like Pizzi's numbers that you guys brought up, and don't get me wrong, he had a fantastic season. I don't think Pizzi's as good as those numbers presented themselves that year.
That's fair.
Don't get me wrong. He is a good player. He is a good player. I just don't think dude, like you said, like those are insane numbers for any type of player to have.
4 years in a row.
No, not the one year that he had like almost 50 involved in 50 goals.
Should have sold him
last year.
That's when he should have sold him.
All right,
Yeah,
last
year. Nobody bought him because he stuck after in the summer.
We got 10 minutes, right? We're gonna start staying on the schedule here. Benfica gives us 90 minutes of footy. We're gonna give you guys 90 minutes of podcast. We got 10 minutes. I want to touch quickly on international referees. The idea of potentially doing some swapping with other countries in terms of referees. I heard an interview from Carlos Carvalhal after they beat Porto in the Taça, and there was a question that came up, and he said there are refs in other countries that make mistakes, just like the refs in Portugal make mistakes. And he called out the Roma game that Braga played, which they got robbed on a few calls. So I wanted to get your thoughts on. Do you think?
Staticky, Mike. I don't know if you hear it.
I hear it too. There's a little bit of a mic issue.
I don't hear static. It might be. I don't hear it, so it might be me. Is it better now?
Yeah,
that's good.
Better.
Yep.
Okay. Do you guys think that international refs will help our league? Will it be better? Will it be more competitive? Do you think it'll take away some of the off the field politics and drama? Do you think it will be the same? Milton, I'll start with you.
I know this has been kind of a rumor for quite some time, if I'm not mistaken. But I think, just like VAR, VAR is great if it works well, right? How many penalties have we now get? We haven't had a penalty yet in the league, right? If we did get some penalties, we'd probably be in second. But I think I'm open to the idea. I just don't know how it's going to work out because se ainda tem fruta em Portugal, então tá valendo.
Jay, what
Imagine.
are your thoughts?
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, I guess what would happen with our Portuguese refs then?
I think they're swap, if I'm not mistaken.
So they would swap. So we'd have Portuguese refs in like the second division, and they would alternate probably some cup games. But I would think the main focus, at least for the pilot program, would be focus on the league. But then it's another topic of discussion.
How about the top refs that like the Portuguese refs that go to UEFA? Like what would happen with their careers? Like where would they ref those games? Like
again, they would be part of this swap program, right? Like if they pick Germany, right? Like they swap.
I don't know.
Is this like a all Euro thing? Like are all Euros?
They haven't finalized it. They haven't finalized it yet. But the other question I have is this applicable to all the games in the league, or are they picking and choosing, right? Because if it's not all, then it's no point, right? Like similar to what they did with VAR, right? Like some games had VAR early on and some didn't, right? Like how do you pick whose game's more important to have VAR and whose isn't, right? Like it doesn't make sense. So I think it should be all or nothing. But yeah, again, it's a pilot program. There's alternating refs between the countries that choose to do this. Do you think?
I feel like, so in my opinion, I wouldn't mind it as long as our referees are able to ref somewhere as well for their salary. Because I wouldn't want to have like the Portuguese refs, like especially like the ones that do like Champions League and all that. Like, I wouldn't want it to affect their careers. Like, they should be able to ref as well. So if it doesn't affect anyone, I'm all for it, because some of these refs, it'll be nice to have a new perspective. We might have less fouls in our game and less flopping and all that shit. So I don't know. We'll see. Like, I wouldn't be that opposed, but as long as everything was right, I wouldn't mind it.
Kenny? And just before that, we always talk about, like, I guess I'll ask you guys this question. What league is the best league in the world?
EPL.
In your opinion?
EPL.
EPL.
And they make a lot of mistakes too.
EPL and La Liga. I mean, I figured like those are the two.
EPL, best league in the world. It's been considered for years now, right? There were no British referees at the 2018 World Cup. Let that sink in.
It's crazy.
And Portugal had a referee there. Kenny, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, so I don't know all the details. So basically, you would just swap with you would swap with like Spain. The Spanish refs would come and ref our games for the weekend, and then our guys would go there. So I think the concept makes sense. Like, I'm just top of the head. Like, yeah, I think that's a great idea. There's a lot of controversies with the refs within our league, and all the politics that go behind it, right? So that should eliminate those concerns. But like Milton said, you got to see what happens, right? I think you're going to see a lot more different type of games. I don't know if it's like what if 1 weekend you're working with Spanish coaches or Spanish refs, and then the next weekend you're working with Bundesliga refs. Like, you're going to be seeing completely different types of games just by the ref. I think the refs do influence the games a lot. But I mean, the concept makes sense. I'm definitely open for the idea, and I definitely want to see it, work out better than VAR, because VAR is a complete mess. So
to that, do you think that would help us in European?
Well, so my joke would be, what if like a Passos Ferreira all of a sudden wins the league because of the new refs, right? Like, who knows? What if now all of a sudden you see a tighter race up top? Now it's instead of the top 3, now it's a top 5 or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe it makes the league more interesting, but then it opens a whole nother can of worms of what could be happening. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see. I definitely want it to happen for sure next year. If it's just a pilot, fine. Like, I definitely want to see how it pans out.
Oscar, what do you think?
I'm all for it, and there's 2 reasons why I'm all for it. One is, no matter who the ref is in Portugal, they always gonna have one. They're always gonna root for a club, right? So, and most of the time it's gonna be a Porto, Benfica, Sporting. Like, that's they can say, oh, I won't go. I don't make decisions based on the team that I like, but it's very hard when you have a game on the line to not be biased, right? And so refs in Portugal obviously going to be biased when it comes to a decision like that. Will it affect the career? It has happened so many times. Even with VAR in play, it's happened. So we need change. Absolutely need change. Just like example, Benfica in Europe, we have how many PKs? All right. Benfica in Portugal, how many PKs? It explains it all. And it's been calls there like how
yeah,
they not see it.
But what's our record in Europe lately?
Right. But we have those PKs. The same calls that don't get called in Portugal, they got called in Europe. And for some reason, why are they trying to fundar Benfica in Portugal?
How many PKs do we get in Europe?
In Europe, like
5. Don't we have 5?
No, 7, I think.
You have
The
7
most-
PKs in Europe?
The most in the Europa League.
Oh, so that's why PZ has 7 goals.
well, but he still has to put them in, and it doesn't have.
I get it. Cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
No. So
Makes sense.
no. And then another thing is, a lot in Portugal, you have fans, right? Like the Super Dragões, or even that threaten the refs' families that live in Portugal, right? So all those cafes, and they see them, they either attack them or beat them up or threaten to kill them if they do this and that. So it's always the refs going to these games conditioned. All right, like they're scared. I would be scared if there's a bunch of already like in history like of fans meeting these refs at cafes and beating them up, right? So like I think a change like refs from international, they don't give a shit about that. They're not biased towards a team. they're not gonna get scared of somebody threatens them. They go to World Cups all the time and ref big games. So and the players adapt to those kind of. If you talked about it's gonna be a ref from Germany, one ref from Spain. You have to think the World Cup. You have whatever games you play there. You're not gonna get a ref from the same country. You're gonna get refs from different countries.
So
and
Do you know?
I'm just gonna throw this out there, but like, do you think it's harder to control like the so with the Portuguese refs, right? You have a set of refs, a ref organization that you can kind of like keep an eye out, make sure that the stuff of the past doesn't happen again, right? The chocolate de leite, fruta.
yeah.
When you expand it now with like multiple referee organizations, do you think it's harder to control something like that happening again? Like
you have like there's going to be a VAR, right? So these refs don't want to ruin their careers. They're not going to be biased, right? They might have offerings like FIFA, like how the corruption bullshit in the World Cups and all that, the money is offered to refs to throw a game. We saw those games in 2002 when Korea was fucking killing everybody, like jail, like kung fu fighting everybody, and they will win these games. And I don't know how they didn't get freaking red cards and that against Spain, against Portugal, against I think Italy. Like it was like elbows to the face, people bleeding, and no red cards at all. Just keep it going, play, and then obviously corruption comes out after. Like something happened where the refs were letting these games go, right? So yeah, we can have, but it's not going to be FIFA controlling this. I don't think it'll be UEFA, right? UEFA will be controlling this, and VAR will be on the line. So VAR here, I don't think there's going to be like a VAR inside like the room. That's going to be like, oh, I want Porto to win this game, so let's not call the PK. No, it's going to be more open. I think it's going to be more transparent.
I think too. I think the mentality. If I just may add, like I know I'm this way. Some of my family members are this way. Friends from all clubs. It's a mentality of when you have a ref from Porto coming to ref your game, right? It's always that like, oh, this guy's vem do norte para acabar o jogo. Same thing when a ref from Lisbon goes up to a Braga game or a Porto game, right? I think just the mentality of, all right, this guy doesn't know anything about our history. Maybe he'll be a little bit more even. And better for the league, I think, too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I hate that our league is a bunch of like babies. You fall every two. If I see a Sporting game, I see them rolling around the floor more times than I see them playing soccer, right? So to me, I like a ref from England coming in and reffing our games and get up, you little biatch, get up. I think that's what we need. A
lot more free flowing. I would like to see that.
Well, all these refs need to do is just join the union, ref the same way, and learn from each other, and like then you can have that random, like you say, then you can have that random shit like everyone wants to do. Like they need to create something like that.
I agree. I think it'll make the league better. We're out of time, but Dave Pereira, Braga fan, asks thoughts on Andrea Horta's comments post-Roma match where he said the league is a lot of players going down to the ground, wasting time, right? And it impacts us when we go abroad and play against other teams that don't do this. So I think, touching on this just quickly, I think that having refs from the outside will ref the game differently, will force the teams to not time waste, to not throw themselves on the ground. You'll have to actually play football, which I think in turn improves the gameplay, makes the time of usage during the match higher, right? The ball's not stopped. It's not, killing time. And then again, forces the teams to play a different style of football, which hopefully in turn should make the league more competitive and more attractive to at least watch. I don't think it'll make players want to stay here longer or come here. But I think if anything, it'll just make it better to watch and not, like who wants to watch a game between, two of the bottom feeders, right? Like it's probably not going to be a good game, right? Hopefully if they do it, I think it'll improve the game. Before we jump off, just to give you guys a reminder, follow our page on Facebook. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Dave says it's a culture problem. The match ends and there's a program to discuss the ref's possible errors. That's another thing, right? They talk about it for 3-4 days, right? Like he's absolutely right on it. Like
what's
the Portuguese culture is.
See, that's the thing that that's weird. The mentality to me. Even like the NBA the NBA will release like a letter being like, we don't agree with this call. Like that's all they'll say out of it. But these guys have like a show and they dig deep.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
It's the Portuguese culture, the Portuguese mentality. The game's not even over yet, and they already got it on like the Sam TVs, like across the bottom of the screen. Like this happened, that happened. Like
that will continue though.
One thing I wish the refs, even if they come from abroad or even in the local refs in Portugal, I wish they had the communication transparent between the VAR and the refs.
Yes, they need that big time.
They do it in Australia.
They do it on the mic, right? So that should be something that can be transparent, like the VAR saying a penalty or no a penalty and the reasoning behind it to go check the monitor. Like I wish that was transparent.
They do that in Australia and they do that in the Dutch league. The audio of the conversation is fed through the live feed, so you hear the whole conversation.
I've seen
sick. That's sick.
I've seen the clip of the one in Australia, and that is awesome. I didn't know that they did it already in Europe.
Yeah, they do it in the Dutch league as well. Yeah,
they should definitely do that. Absolutely.
My thing is, why not? Like, there's something that just
Why though? That's the question. Right. Why not? Yeah, because they're probably in there like, oh, Zé.
Nossa
Photoshop the drive a little bit behind, make the light a little bit crooked.
Ô Zé, é nossa oportunidade de nos dar fruta. É agora, e agora?
eu já não como fruta há 3 meses, caralho.
Olha lá, Zé.
Dave says would never be allowed in Portugal. I don't think they'll ever allow the commentary to be fed through. But hey, maybe that's one step to changing the way our league is perceived and the way that it is played. So again, check us out on Facebook. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter as well. Milton, what's your Twitter handle again?
It's at Millie, Milli, Millie Carvalho.
All right. Again, thanks for checking us out. Thanks for the comments. Manny was in there. SLBEES. Dave, as always, we'll have him on ahead of the Braga game. Benfica Americano was in there. Joe Miguel was in there. Had a few different names. So again, check us out. Thanks for watching. And boys, we will chat next week. Oh, before we jump off, quick prediction. I know that you may change your mind between now and then. We play Boa Vista at home on Saturday.
Revenge game.
We're going to run down the list. Just give me your score. And again, you obviously can change it before
I'm going 3-0 right now. Right now, I'm feeling another 3-0. They got it. They're going to give it right back.
Milton, what are you saying?
2-1. I say last minute goal.
Boa
Vista's been playing well.
Fuck Boa Vista.
I'm gonna go with my original 2-0. I think this is a game to continue.
2-0, okay. Kenny?
I'm gonna go 2-0 as well.
2-0. All right, you guys are courteous. I'm gonna go, like Tank said, revenge game. 4-0.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, you guys are excited. You guys are excited over today. Huh?
Yeah.
It's gonna burn you in the ass.
All right, boys. It was a good chat. Milton, thank you for joining us. Hopefully it's not the
Milton,
last.
thanks for joining.
Whenever you're free, let us know. You can jump in the podcast and have a good rest of your evening, and we will catch you guys next week.
Good night. Well done, boys. Thanks.
Hey, boys.
Fuck the Cowboys.